Today's episode is focused on measurement, with the goal being walking away with this episode of a good understanding of what's worth watching in affiliate. Why does it matter? Goal is to keep this episode relatively brief. I think we could do lots of deep dives in various facets of this, particularly as it gets to hosted models. When you get to hosted models, you'll find the analytics involved there are somewhat nuanced, and just appreciating that not everybody listening to this show is going to necessarily be using targeted models or care about that topic quite yet. Today we'll treat this as a high-level overview. I'll describe what some of these dashboards tend to look like in practice. I'll talk about some specific metrics I suggest you take a look at. I find them that kind of often missed in dashboards. So let's kick off with driving questions here. So at the end of the day, what business questions are we trying to answer here? Because we can talk about metrics and dashboards and data, and we can easily get lost in a bunch of numbers. But I always find it helpful to true up to what questions am I trying to answer at the end of the day. I only came up with two as it pertains to affiliate marketing within the lender context. And kind of driving question one is, am I delivering for the partner, for my partner? Am I delivering? And really there, if we're going off of the presumption that the affiliate marketer is optimizing on some form of monetization, whether it be revenue per impression, revenue per click, some kind of top line revenue measure. There's all sorts of things we could imagine that optimization function looks like. But at the end of the day, I think it's safe to assume, based on how affiliates operate in practice, that healthy monetization rates through the funnel of the ad that they're serving is the driving force. So as we're answering the question of am I delivering for the partner, what you start to imagine here is a marketing funnel where you start to understand your click-through rate, your application rate, your approval rate, your funding rate, your payout, and you're almost trying to back into whatever metric you think they care about, right? So if we think about true north here, what does good look like? And as you start building reporting, monitoring, dashboards that answer this question of am I delivering for the partner, you quickly realize that this answer should be coming from the partner. And this is often a missed conversation of, do I even know what I'm solving for here from the partner perspective? Is it RPI? Is it CPC? Is it some relative performance metric relative to the field that's always moving? What is it that I'm actually trying to deliver for them? Okay? I'd encourage you to have those open discussions with your partners, even if it's a moving target, because you'll want to articulate what the metric is and the level at which you should be driving. And just imagine having that easy conversation with your CMO, your CEO, your board, and you can show up and say, look, for each of my affiliates, I know what true north looks like. For this partner cares about this partner cares about that. Furthermore, I can quantify it. And beyond that, I can show you how we're doing against true north and then deconstruct things. If I'm not hitting, why not? What can I do about it? And if I've decided to take action, what are my actions having the intended effect? That's really it, right? If you're always hitting true north, sure, you can always find little things to optimize, but you're going to be checking the box green, and you're going to be saying, look, at the highest level of the program, my partner's thrilled about what I'm delivering for them. And we'll talk about some of these decompositions in a second. But if this section's interesting to you, consider looking at episode 5. You'll see it in the podcast feed. It's called Levers. And it kind of deconstructs each of these levers that I talked about that compose monetization for the publisher. And I think it will give you ideas around what levers to pay attention to and which ones you can measure. So then the second driving question at the top of the house, I think is probably fairly obvious from the way I framed it, but is the partner delivering for me? And often this looks like a LTV or an account quality. Essentially, are they delivering profitable accounts? And often there's a notion of how many profitable accounts, and is the volume of those accounts growing over time? Quality, volume, growth. And true north, what does good look like for you? This should be well defined. Typically, this will be coming from a lending or a credit team. I haven't seen affiliate or marketing teams generally define what good looks like as it pertains to the quality of a customer, but I know some organizations I've worked with and partnered with in the past kind of have these highly integrated collaborations between marketing, lending, risk. So it's certainly possible that the marketing team constructs that themselves for the affiliate program, but usually it's coming from a partner organization. The missed conversation here is, are you communicating that with your partner? Are you telling them what true north is for you as it comes to account quality or LTV? Are you reporting to them regularly how you're doing on that metric? Do they have a barometer to be able to adjust anything on their side to get you closer to true north and into green status? So establish true north. And again, if you're not hitting it, why not? What can you do about it? And are the actions you're taking having the intended effect? It's the exact same framework. So to play it back, question 1, am I delivering for the partner? I have an idea of true north. It's quantifiable. If I'm not delivering, why not? What can I do about it? And are my actions having the intended effect? And then bucket 2 is the partner delivering for me. An idea of true north, quantifiable. If they're not delivering for me, why not? What can they or I do about it? And are they or my actions having the intended effect? That is, if you can't slot something you're measuring into one of these 2 buckets, I mean, there could be good reasons for it, but I would at least pause and ask yourself, is this a critical part of my measurement framework? Because if these 2 things are really driving and firing on all cylinders, my expectations are going to have a really kick-ass program. So one other thing I'll say here, and I'll call this kind of a big enabler. What I'm getting to here is affiliate marketing and marketing in general from a lending context requires the combination of marketing stage data and lending underwriting stage data and then performance stage data. So I would think of it along those kind of 3 stages. And in the affiliate marketing world, what you're missing is generally the marketing stage stuff. So just to give a tangible example, if you're running direct mail, you know exactly what that creative says, you know who you sent it to, you know when the mail dropped, you know if they went to your website or called you. Presumably you're doing phone number tracking, URL tracking, so you know exactly who on the piece hit the website. You have good marketing stage data. You know what the customer saw, so that when you later analyze who you approved, how did those accounts perform, you can always true back up to, well, did any of this performance have anything to do with the marketing stage stuff, how I priced it, how I communicated the product, the bonus I ran, the actual copy on the letter, the envelope I used, all, et cetera, et cetera. You kind of follow here. The challenge on the affiliate side is they're often changing, experimenting with, optimizing the marketing stage on your behalf, and it's done with your best intentions and theirs as well. The intent is to grow the total pie of the partnership. The challenge is that you don't have visibility to that. So when you're analyzing vintages and you're saying, oh, well, for affiliate A, I actually lost money on that vintage. Why might that have been? Because that affiliate used to perform well and now it isn't. It'd be great to have marketing stage data there so that you could analyze it. All right, so the enabler here, just to get to the tactical point I'm trying to land, is the more you can ask your affiliate partners to share with you at the lead level. What did the customer see? What was rendered in the ad? Where was it rendered? Was the ad next to a certain other product? What was the sign-on bonus? If there was an approval odds badge or some indicator to the customer of how likely they are to get approved for that product, what did it say? If you used a targeting model on the front end, which model? Presumably you have a model ID or some way to identify the model that you used. What back-end model were you using? Presumably you're always testing back-end underwriting models. So the more your affiliate partner that controls the marketing stage can pass some of this through either the URL or through some kind of API, the more information you have to unpack your performance, which will help you answer the question 2, is the partner delivering for me, at a more granular level, so that you can tell them, look, for this product and FICO band, you're doing great. I'm happy with my LTVs. I'm happy with my return on investment. That's awesome. But in this product category and in this different segment, we have a problem. Let me show that to you so that you can see what I'm seeing and so that we can collaborate here to fix the problem. So I think that's a material unlock that I've seen be really helpful. So now I'll just spend a couple minutes describing what these dashboards kind of tend to look like. And then I'll just wrap up today's episode. Just some metrics that I consider you watch that may not be in your current dashboards, but could be high leverage for you to start paying attention to. So the am I delivering for the partner dashboard, I mean, typically this looks like a marketing funnel. Your click rate, your approval rate, your funding rate, application rate, and it's unpacked by all the relevant things that could explain the metric. So for example, if we're watching a application rate, you're generally watching that over time. Hopefully it's steady or increasing up and to the right. And then the filters I would add to that would be, if you know the credit segment of the user coming in, again, this would probably be fed to you by the affiliate partner. Because when you're looking at application rate, for the denominator there, you don't always know the FICO score or the Vantage score of the customer that came through. You do know it on the numerator, the people that actually applied, because you're running them through your backend decision. But for the denominator, you don't always have it. But if the partner can pass it to you, then you can start to unpack application rate by something like a credit score. So that might be relevant. whether it was mobile or desktop, the browser that it came through. If the affiliate partner has like different sub channels, if they have an authenticated platform and an unauthenticated platform, it might be interesting to see if the application rate looks different by those things. So you kind of get the idea. So you have all these different rates, they're trended over time, and then you have these filters so that you can cut and look how things are trending for the segments that you care about. And you're going to have lots of combinations, and these dashboards, just given the combinatorics of this stuff, can actually get pretty unwieldy if you try to show all the views together, which is why I tend to prefer filters. So I can see the high level metrics and I can filter down quickly into the ones I care about. So that's high level, what that looks like for question 1. Question 2 is the partner delivering for me. This is generally, you're looking at this by vintages. So you're looking at affiliate A, B, C, D, E. They delivered X number of accounts for me last month. And now I'm looking at early performance indicators, things like if it's credit cards, early DQs, early spend, early activation rates, revolve rates, things of that nature. I'm probably looking at it again in 90 days. I might have another look in 180 days, and maybe there's another dashboard that gives me the vintages I booked a year ago and gives me a full year of performance. But what I'm getting at here, we're looking at vintages and we're looking at this cut across affiliate partners. We're also using any cuts here the affiliate partner might have given you. Things we talked about earlier, where the ad was placed, how it was placed, any context about the marketing stage data. And this could be super basic, just a couple of things. Some affiliates may be willing to give you the kitchen sink and just have you go nuts unpacking this thing every which way. So that's more or less what that dashboard looks like. The other dashboards here on is the partner delivering for me. We just talked about account quality. Of course, you're going to be watching volumes, lead volumes, application volumes, approval volumes over time. So this is less around funnel, more around what's the throughput, what am I seeing at the end? And yes, quality is important, but if I'm not getting enough units, then I also have a problem. So that'll help you kind of look at volume and growth. I see most organizations unpack volume by either a FICO band or an internal risk score or something like that. The other question you might get to on is the partner delivering for me is kind of some notion of mix. You do prime above 660 FICO and subprime, and you have a ratio you're trying to hit. The ratio could be different for every lender. You may want to watch that ratio. How many approvals am I getting above and below the line? And am I hitting my mix? And if not, what can I do about the mix? I know I've been talking a lot about connecting marketing stage data, which is hosted and controlled by your affiliate partner, and effectively connecting that to your back-end performance. Things like your loss rates, for example. What I want to underscore here is that it's going to be operationally challenging for your affiliate partners to deliver that information to you at the lead level. So for them to attach where the ad was placed, what it was placed next to, the rank of the ad, what exact features and badging were present when they displayed the ad. There's a number of details you might imagine could be relevant and interesting for you to unpack. In practice, I've seen very few affiliate partners share that with their lending partners. So what you should expect instead is aggregations of how your rank is doing, how your badgings are doing, what placements you're in. Not so much at a lead level. Don't think record or transaction level data here. Think a report they can create for you in a couple pages that will tell you whether your rank is improving, whether you're winning premium placements, whether or not you're winning more impressions, things of that nature. And that's still very useful, by the way, because as those things improve, you should expect to see not only more volume from those affiliate partners, but also higher quality accounts coming from that. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Again, it doesn't hurt to ask for the more granular level data, because if you get it, you can start to do more thorough analytics and reach insights you otherwise wouldn't have with the aggregated data. But you just kind of have a baseline expectation that most affiliate partners will either be unable to provide that or maybe unwilling to provide it, just given the level of operational lift it requires. So the second idea here, I want to say it explicitly. I think it might have been implied throughout the narrative so far today. So I've talked about metrics that help you track and measure whether or not you're delivering for your partners and whether or not they're delivering for you. And that first set of metrics that relate to delivering for the partner are oriented around the marketing funnel. So effectively, how high is your click-through rate, your approval rate, your application rate, your funding rate, etc. And the second set of metrics were more risk-oriented, your loss rates, your MPVs, your LTVs, that sort of thing. The idea I want to leave you with at a high level is the more you're nailing that first set of metrics, Like you're really nailing the marketing funnel. And based on the benchmarking your partners are able to provide you, you can validate with data that you're at the top of the pack. What that implies is you're going to get the most placements and the most premium placements on their site, which if you're running targeted models on top of that, so they're only landing ads in your buy box, that should in large degree mitigate any negative select or any credit performance risk you may have. So just keep that in mind, that if you just end up really dialing in and focusing on the most efficient marketing funnel you can possibly build, I would expect your credit metrics are going to look pretty good on the other side. And that's not to say don't watch those metrics, because they're critical, and you don't want to let those metrics get too far away from where you want them to be before you react or do something about it. But as a strategic principle, if you're a CRO, a CEO, and you're trying to keep an eye out on what the affiliate team's doing, and you see them obsessing over the marketing funnel and making sure they're best in class there, assuming you have a targeting model running which is aligned with your backend, I would expect good outcomes on credit performance. I want to leave you with 9 specific metrics you should consider adding to your program. I think these metrics can be helpful in answering both questions we teed up at the top of the show, which is, am I delivering the right outcomes for my partners, and is the partner delivering the right outcomes for me? What I found is, as your marketing funnel gets more efficient in the affiliate marketing world, both improve. It makes it easier for your partner to place you in premium placements and get you more impressions at the top of the funnel. That in turn drives higher quality applicants that flow through your product and into your P&L. So I think that the metrics I'm about to describe can cut either way. I think that's what makes them kind of special and worthy of paying attention to. So the first one is what I call targeted offer penetration, which is ask the question, what percentage of your conversions are coming through hosted models? The higher the better. Said differently, you want as many customers as you can coming either through pre-qualified programs or through programs like you might find at Credit Karma or Experian Activate, where they run your targeting model at the top of the house at the marketing stage, and they give the user a higher than normal approval odds certainty. The second is full funnel efficiency. I know I'm a broken record on this one. The definition here is just take all your conversions and divide it by the impression served. So that'll help you calculate RPI, revenue per impression. You're going to need some affiliate data to get that, to get the impression volume. Not all affiliates are going to be willing to share this. So your second best metric for full funnel efficiency will be conversions divided by clicks. It'll help you get revenue per click. The third is application load time. So this one's not super sexy, but it's important, because the faster your page loads, the more your application rate's going to move. It's going to move up. And I've seen just a number of cases where we have partners loading pages at 5, 10. I even saw an example years ago where it was, I think, 14 seconds to load the application page. It's pretty ridiculous. So in any case, aim to load in less than a second, and cut your application rate by browser and device type combinations. You're likely to find some underperformers that are being caused by bugs or weird things going on in your tech stack that may be preventing people from filling out fields, things of that nature. Next is targeted model eligibility. So the question you're asking here is, what percentage of the affiliates users are eligible to see your targeted offers? So the higher the number, the better, all else equal, as these offers see stronger click-through rates, conversion rates, and loan performance. Fifth is badge distribution. So how many of your ads are displaying with a higher than normal certainty approval rating? The more, the better. Again, publishers won't always share this, but you don't lose anything by asking. Sixth is your offer match rate. And this applies more to personal loans, but the idea here is the displayed rate on the publisher matching the rate that you're showing the customer on the other side of your application page. So you'll ask your publisher to send you the rate that was displayed along with the lead, and then you'll compare that to what you actually displayed once you ran their application. The more consistency and displayed rate to presented or offered rate on your side of the experience, the more conversions you'll see. And then seventh would be decline reasons. So again, this applies to channels that allow you to host your model at the top of the funnel. Presumably you're getting a very high approval rate, 70, 80%, something of that nature. So what you'll look is that 20% that's getting declined, study just that 20% and see if you can see commonality around why they're getting declined. And then once you understand the exact reason for why they're getting declined, look to align your front end and your back end models to eliminate those declines. Eighth is your index market share. Affiliates don't typically provide market share to partners. I think they worry about that for a number of reasons. But they might index it for you and show you changes over time. So if they index it to, say, January of this year, and you saw that at January you were a 1.0, and that 1.0 might represent 10% of their market, 20%, 30%, they're not going to tell you the level. But if in July you're a 1.5, that means whatever your market share was, it increased by 50% in that time frame. So that tells you at least you're moving in the right direction. And conversely, if it was a 0.5 over that 6-month period, you lost half your market share. And then you'd have some inquiry to do on what players entered the market, what changed in your product. You could do some digging there to understand the root cause and turn it around. And then the last one is just, I'm calling this concentration metrics. These come in two flavors. The first is what percentage of your traffic is coming from affiliates. And the second is within affiliate, what percent is coming from the various publishers that you work with. And what you're looking for here is just kind of big changes. If in January your affiliate concentration was 20%, 20% of your new customers came from affiliates, and then in July, 6 months later, it was 22. Like, okay, whatever. That's not that interesting, probably not worth an inquiry. But if it went from 20% to 45, that's either going to be because large affiliates went up a lot or because your other programs went down a lot. And I think it's important for your affiliate partner team to know how important affiliate is to the overall book. So definitely keep your eye on that one. So those are the 9 I wanted to share with you. Consider adding them to your monitoring program. So that wraps today's episode. If you enjoyed today's show and would like to support it, you can do so in the following ways. 1 is share it on social media. 2, share it with a colleague that you think might find it helpful. 3 would be leave a review on the platform where you found this podcast, whether it be Spotify or the Apple Podcast platform. And then the last would just be send me feedback. And that feedback could be ways I can improve the show or content ideas, questions you have, things you'd like to discuss in more depth. I'd be happy to dig in and explore those with you. Thanks for spending the time with me today, and I hope I'll see you soon.